Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to everyone here in person today and to everyone who is viewing our service from home. We Unitarians of Lake Norman are an open and inclusive congregation. Our members walk diverse paths to find meaning and purpose. But we are united by our belief in the inherent worth and dignity of all people and by the responsibility to express our faith through acts of justice and compassion. Personally, I, like most UUs, have a great deal of tolerance for different viewpoints, although I don't have much tolerance for intolerance, which I suppose in a sense makes me intolerant. Anyway, I'm going to let Reverend Pat handle that issue some other time, okay? My name is Ray Smith, and I've been an active member of this congregation just since last month. However, I've been an active humanist Unitarian for most of my life. We also have a key person with us in our excellent music department, Teresa Woody on piano, and Eddie Gunn will help her out. And we have our own minister, Pat Jobe, with us today in the pulpit. We start our services and other activities by lighting a candle inside a chalice and speaking words that call us to that occasion. First, a brief note. In your order of service, many of you may notice that the word fair has been added in the third line. I suggested this addition because in our search for justice, being loving usually involves being indulgent. And sometimes, in some circumstances, indulgence best needs to be tempered in a fair and loving way. Please join me in saying today's chalice lighting words, which are in your order of service. We light this flaming chalice to illuminate the world we seek. In our search for truth, may we be just. In our search for justice, may we be fair and loving. And in loving, may we find peace. Rub your face. Sometimes it works. Okay. Yeah. Uh-oh.
Is the budget that low?
There we go. Okay. Okay. Wow. Ray, you are really something. You're kicking this thing off magnificently. Before I give opening words, I want to say a special welcome to Becky and Gerald, who got in before we were doing after we did the visitor introduction. So we want you to know that we're glad you're here. And we're so grateful to Babs for doing announcements along with her introduction. And we're glad Alan is here. Went the name of your dermatologist. I need to talk to her. And Ethan, I'm glad you're here. We actually have some pagans, Ethan, they're not here today, but if you keep coming back, I'll promise to introduce you, maybe on your 5th or 6th visit. I'll introduce you to the pagans. Our opening words come from Robert Green Ingersoll, and I really encourage you to look him up. Robert Green Ingersoll was, in his day, which was the late 1800s, he was known as the Great Agnostic. And his dad, who went by Bob Ingersoll, was a minister, but he was one of those ministers who gets kicked around a lot because he had a lot of wild ideas, and one church would fire him and he would move to another, and then another church would fire him. And he was actually tried. They had a lot more church trials back in the day than they do now, although a lot of churches are trying now. But Bob Ingersoll was really quite beat up by the churches that he worked for. And his son saw this and decided to become an agnostic.
He said, if that's the way church people are going to act, then I'm going to become an agnostic. And he said these words: the Unitarian Church has done more than any other church to substitute character for creed, and to say that a man should be judged by his spirit, by the climate of his heart, by the autumn of his generosity, by the spring of his hope, and he should be judged by what he does, by the influence he exerts, rather than by the mythology he may believe. Now, you all remember he was writing in the 1800s, so he didn't realize that the male pronoun was universal, or was not universal. So I should have probably rewritten his quote to respect universal gender. He also said, all the meanness, all the revenge, all the selfishness, all the cruelty, all the hatred, all the infamy of which the heart of man is capable grew, blossomed, and bloomed because of one word: hell.
Please stay seated as Teresa takes us with her music into a place of worship and contemplation. Now, Reverend Pat will speak, I think, about parking cars. Okay.
This guy's fabulous, isn't he? I probably need to say a word about this hat I'm wearing. Larry Bruchette owns this hat, and I told him how much I liked it today, and he said, would you like to wear it? It says, make racism wrong again. I actually had to run out to the car to get my throat lozenges, and there was a woman walking down the street, and I said, I want you to see my hat. And she said, right on, right on. The last 2 Sundays in September, our crowds were down. I don't know, Linda, have you done a head count yet?
I got 36.
36. It was 36 last week, right? Yeah, about that. We have been hitting more in the mid 40s and 50 occasionally. There might be 2 explanations for why our attendance was mediocre now for 3 Sundays. One of the reasons was that one of the Sunday afternoons that we met over the last 3, St. Albans was having their chamber music series. And a lot of our folks go to that instead of coming here, which hurts my feelings just a little bit. But the other reason though, is people do not like to come back to a room where they have difficulty finding a place to sit. Now that may seem like a strange phenomenon, but the study after study have shown that if people walk into a worship environment and they find that they have difficulty finding a place to sit, they don't come back the next Sunday. So we're sort of up against that. Although the number of first-time visitors in the room today is very heartening. It's wonderful to have you all here. And Alan, I do want to get the name of your dermatologist. Now, before I get to the heart of what I want to say today, let me mention another practical consideration. We don't have a lot of moving money. We're in good shape financially, but our building fund is nothing to write home about. We don't have a lot of money to find a new home once we outgrow this place, and it looks like sooner or later we may outgrow this place. We don't have a lot of money to find new space, to rent new space, to buy a space in this real estate market. And we don't have enough money to build a new building and a new parking lot. The folks in one of the congregations I served used to put a banner up over the door that said, "Everybody welcome." And I used to kid them. I'd say, no, everybody's not welcome. We can't park all those cars. I really thought that was a better joke than the response. That's okay. So what we need to think about funding. We need to think about in our budgeting and in our giving. We need to think about the building fund more, because that's how we're going to be able to move when the time comes to move. And I know that a lot of you love this place, and I love this place, and I don't want to move either. But if we keep hitting 50s and 60s, we will have to move. This room is not adequate for 60 people, for instance. Yeah. To Eddie's point, Eddie said knock a wall out. We don't own this building. And I can't help but think that if we did knock a wall out, the Quakers might object. So
Open the door.
there you go. There you go. Let them sit on the sidewalk. Yeah. Okay, now here's what I came over here to say this afternoon. We do good. If some of you are grammar police, you may have wished I said we do well, but that's not what I meant. In fact, we do very well at doing good. We do a heck of a lot of good. I'm not going to give you the list again. And for those of you who are first-time visitors, I really encourage you to listen to the list when it comes up later in the announcements. Ray, who is doing a magnificent job this morning, will do a great job with the announcements, but I'm not going to go over it right now, because that's not the point I want to make. The announcements are about the good we do, and they are also about how well we do it. We do good and we do it well. But that's not the whole story. I'm going to tell you the whole story, but first, I want to remind you of a story some of you have heard before. One Sunday, we talked about spirituality. Spirit is often a misunderstood word in our communities. So let me just use an old illustration. Think of a high-spirited horse. Or think of the spirit that is evoked by a high school band at a pep rally. That's spirit. It is a word for enthusiasm, because the root of enthusiasm is to be imbued with spirit. Enthusiastic people are people of high spirits. So on this particular day that we were talking about spirituality, my beloved brother, Geo Johnson, stood up and said, "What is the spirituality?"
What is spirituality?
I did not set that up in advance. And I gave a rather halting and convoluted answer to his question. And then Jim Price stood up and did his hands like this and said, "Our spirituality is that we care for each other." Boom. I loved it. But that's not the whole story. I'm fixing to tell you the whole story. Here it comes. We did it. We are doing it. And indications are that we will continue to do it. Now some of you are confused. What's the it he's talking about? It is not about Movie Tuesday or the book club or the chalice circles or Friday action hour or these gatherings on Sunday afternoons. That's not it. It is all of it. It is all of it. The totality of it all. The way it all meshes together. That's the whole ball of wax. That's the whole 9 yards. That's the whole big kahuna. And why is it exciting? Because it hits me a lot. Were all the elements not there, we would be a different gathering. If everything that makes us who we are were not present, the recipe would result in a different biscuit. We've got the biscuit we've got because of who we are and what we do. Remember how Joni Mitchell warned us? You won't know what you've got till it's gone. That's not true of us. We know what we've got. We've got each other. We've got each other. Jim Price was right. I don't know if it answered your question, Gio, but Jim Price was right. We've got each other. We've got each other. We're just a little bit crazy about each other. We're just a little bit proud of each other. Larry and I are both proud of this hat. I know none of you will ever strike up a conversation with someone in the grocery store line. That's a running joke. It comes from a sermon I delivered many years ago called Unitarian Evangelism. I was trying to explain to Unitarians how to talk to people in the grocery store line, and everybody laughed at me. Are you kidding? But I can tell you what you already do has meant so much to me and to others in this room and to Alan's dermatologist. We are doing good and we are doing well at it. You know who you are. You know who you are. And that is so important. That puts a smile on your face. That puts a spring in your step. If you don't believe it, you just watch Eddie Gunn walk across the room. We know who we are. We know that that's what this place and this gathering and these other things that you're going to hear about during the announcements, that's what it's all about. And we don't do it in the name of Buddha. Some of us do. Some of us do. And we don't do it in the name of Kuan Yin, the Chinese goddess of compassion, who has temples in 75 different countries. We don't do it in the name of Pavarti or Yamaya, the African river goddess, or Jesus, or Moses, or Bertrand Russell. Do y'all know that Bertrand Russell was locked up in World War I because he opposed the English involvement in World War I? He got locked up and he lost his teaching job. I don't know how he got along after he got out of prison. We do it sometimes in ways that stretch credibility. We do it sometimes in ways that make some of the rest of us uncomfortable. And we do it certainly in a spirit that allows for making mistakes. I've told y'all this story before, but we do have first-time visitors, so I can tell it again. I did a sermon on prayer down in Bluffton, and this woman got so mad at me. Oh, I told answered prayer stories, and she came up to me afterward, and she said, those were all coincidences. You are so full of it. But she didn't leave. She stayed. I couldn't run her off. And we do sometimes run people off, but we're open to disagreeing. We're open to making mistakes. That's who we are. We do it because we're pretty sure, and we might be wrong, but we're pretty sure there is no man behind the curtain. saying, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, as Toto pulls the curtain back to reveal the man behind the curtain. We don't believe he's back there. And we certainly don't believe that there's a booger man who's going to jump out at the end of our lives and say, ha, gotcha. We don't believe in that. We might be wrong. Theodore Parker said, ours is a religion that goes everywhere. It is like sunshine. And now I'm going to sing you a song. And I apologize that I didn't bring my guitar with me when I walked across the room. Thank you, Teresa. I have no idea where my pick is.
Oh, what
Oh, so
No excuses now.
kid. This is a song that Meg Barnhouse wrote for the congregation in Spartanburg many, many years ago. I'm sure Meg would appreciate it if you would hold her in your hearts. She is still dealing with very serious cancer and has 2 good weeks and 2 bad weeks.
You like our Bubba Free?
Say it again.
Bubba Free Radio.
Radio Free Bubba, yeah. Radio Free Bubba was created by Meg and me and Kim Taylor and Gary Phillips. And now we got lots of Unitarians performing on Radio Free Bubba. 88.7 on your FM dial. 719 on Wednesday mornings. It's heard on WNCW.org worldwide. Well, I am just so glad I found you. I was out here on my own. Couldn't find a single place where I could feel at home. I was just amazed to see you. You've been here so long. Grateful that you persevered. I wrote you all this song. I was thinking mango thoughts in Meatloaf Town. Food for thought was all the same. It really brought me down. Nothing on the heavenly buffet line that was satisfying my appetite for truth and right. Was sitting here just sighing. Everyone else seemed just fine with blue Jello and green peas. Banana pudding, nothing spicy, no blintzes, no Vietnamese. I was craving jalapeno talk just to soothe my soul. Saying unsurprising things took all my self-control. I was glad the talk is straight here, though a lot of the people are not. We got patriots and protesters, and that ain't all we got. Atheist, redneck, Hindus, we got pagan Buddhists too. Some of us like the Christian songs, some just believe the blues. I was thinking mango thoughts in a Meatloaf Town. Now my soul is on a roll. I've got you folks all around. We got a feast for the spirit and a feast for the mind. We speak the truth, we walk in love, we remember to be kind. And then she said, that's the way the song would end if I were a sweet and earnest person. And Lord knows I try. But here's the real ending. We got a feast for the spirit and a feast for the mind. But just in case of rapture, pass a snack, cause we'll be left behind. I thought you were going to play with me, Eddie. You didn't play with me. Okay. All right. Time for talk back. Larry, I'm going to give you your hat back. I'm afraid I'm sweating on it. Talk back. What do you think?
About
What do you think about? What do you think about what just happened? Here comes Greg. You can count on Greg.
Well,
Oh, you have-
go ahead.
Oh, I have a somewhat related question about membership
Okay.
among Unitarians. Since we do good and we do well at doing good, as I recall, Thomas Jefferson said he thought Unitarianism would pretty much take over the whole country within a generation. And obviously that has not happened, and not yet, but we're not really going in that direction much. Since the 1961 joining of Unitarians and Universalists, there really has not been much growth. I was wondering if you had some thoughts on that.
I do have one thought on it. And I ask the indulgence of our, thank you, sir, of our first-time visitors, to just maybe put your fingers in your ears for this part. I have a theory that we are so wonderful that people come and they visit and they say, oh, I could never live up to that standard. But you can. You can. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're here, Babs. You have any more announcements you want to make? I mean, can you imagine being a first-time visitor? Or she's not first time. She told me she thinks she's been here 4 times. But she made a speech. You got to watch that. Greg.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that when you think about what it is, that we have here, I think about it on a daily basis throughout the week, all the things that are going on and everything else. I fall back onto what it is to be a Unitarian and what we share here, our love of humanity. And, that's carries us through. That's why we go to church, isn't it?
I do have one more answer to, come on, Alan, come on up. I promise I won't talk long. One more answer to Ray's question. A lot of people struggle with our theology or the lack thereof. And we have a new woman who's visiting our Forest City congregation, and she was very clear. She's probably 50 years old, maybe even a little older. And she said, all my life, I've heard the Pentecostal line. She said, it's been ground into me. It's been ground into me. And it's tough to come over here and hear that you folks don't have that. And I asked her, I said, her name is Susan. I said, Susan, did you notice that when we light the chalice, we say that we affirm truth and the warmth of community and the fire of commitment? I said, what else is there? And she said, well, maybe so. Maybe so. Okay. Just knock something on the floor. Alan, you're up.
Well, I had a thought as you were singing that song that actually had a couple thoughts. One thought that occurred to me was that, and this is a philosophy that I foster, that things don't happen. People make things happen.
Lots of times, true.
And the other thought I had was about the word grateful. And maybe Carol can speak to the science behind this, but there is some science behind the idea that if you write down every night 3 things that you are grateful for during the day, that the Spirit will lift you up.
Absolutely.
And continue that fostering of being grateful for the next day. And all you need is one day at a time.
That's right.
To be able to make the difference. So.
Thank you so much.
Since we joined this Lake Norman Unitarians almost 9 years ago, I have been grateful and proud to say that I am a member here, because you all are my friends, you're my inspiration, and you're my example. And you're what gets me through this time.
I respectfully disagree. We do have a theology. We have many theologies. And that actually works better for some of us because being a Unitarian allows you to keep whatever you grew up with, whatever kind of theology, whichever you revere as God or the great power, it allows you to keep that and still be loved and be part of this community. So we may have many theologies. And I have kept some of the prayers that I used to say as a kid. I have kept some of my prayers in Latin that I used to say as a kid because it still soothes me. And it's perfectly all right, I think. And I know that you guys understand and you support me in that.
I've had a small thought about how this motley crew all became a congregation. Many of us tried a number of religious traditions because we were drugged there by our parents or somebody we thought we admired and wanted them to admire us, so we went to their church to be polite. But the real reason for many of us, and we've talked about it once before, is that we didn't fit in anywhere else. And we fit here. And that's, I mean, some people need to belong. Some people just need to not be challenged by the need to be alone, to fit in.
Yes.
I'm George, as most of you know, and now everybody does. But one thing I don't want to, I try not to project is that I go to a Unitarian church as a last resort. No, I'm serious. I've heard that sort of conveyed that I was damaged and this is the only people that'll have me. And that may be true in my case, but what I try to project to people is that I'm here because I found where I needed to be. Yeah, and that's the way. And I've been asked by a number of people, where do you go to church? And I tell them I go to a Unitarian church. And they said, well, we never heard of that. What's that about? And I said, well, our lives are governed by 7 principles. And I particularly subscribe to number 1 and number 7. I tell them what it is about the interdependent web and the belief in the integrity of all beings. And almost universally, they say, well, you know, that I like that. I said, well, come on down. And on the idea of evangelism, there's a number of people in this room that knew Bill Sutton, we knew through the Piedmont Church. He was a psychologist and also known through the Socrates Club, I understand, in Cornelius, I believe. And he had a habit. Anytime he went to a department store or a supermarket, he got in the longest line so that he could talk to people while he was waiting to be checked out. And I thought that was a neat approach.
Let me get a show of hands. Hey, you're not.
Good afternoon. My name is Molly, and I am grateful for this congregation. I'm a recovering Southern Baptist. That was not my choice when I was a child. Now I have a choice. And I'm proud to say I'm a Unitarian.
Okay, thank you all so much.
Okay, now I invite you to listen as Teresa reflects on today's theme with her music.
Which like sunshine fills every
This fellowship is important to all of us. The contributions we make today allow us to sustain and expand our congregation and to reach out to our community, both nearby and in the larger world. Thus, your giving affirms our commitments to each other and to the community. And if viewers at home wish to contribute, you can switch briefly to the main page of our website and just hit the donate button to join the in-person members. With grateful hearts, we receive these gifts. May they encourage us to live lives of integrity, compassion, and peace. We are also grateful to all the people who make possible our Sunday services and all our various community activities, and presenting us to the outside world via newsletter and YouTube. And that includes everyone who cheers us on by being in these chairs today or in their chairs at home. Please note the announcements in your order of service.
Here they come.
Well, first, do any of the Chalice Circle group leaders have any announcements or anything to say about those?
The groups are going fine. Everybody seems to be enjoying the group they're in, which is wonderful. So,
Great, okay. We have social suppers after the service to which everyone, including all guests, are invited. And where are they going to be?
we're going to McAllister's in Cornelius.
McAllister's and Cornelius. Okay. The Tuesday movie. We usually see an afternoon movie at Birkdale, followed by snacks and conversation. This week's movie is Good Boy, starting at 1:55, and you can contact Linda back there for details, and her contact information is in your order of service. The Animal Ministry builds and fully furnishes fenced enclosures for dogs that would otherwise be tied or chained outdoors all the time. The next build is Saturday, October 11th at 9 a.m. in Lincolnton. Volunteers are always welcome. No experience or special tools are needed. Check the Facebook page or give Claudia a call. Her number is in your order of service for more information. FeedNC is a service to feed people experiencing food insecurity. Our next volunteer time is October 9th from 10:30 to 2:30, and you can contact Jim Arnold for details. And don't forget, we're also all invited as guests to lunch and a tour of the facilities on Wednesday, October 8th at noon. And you should let Reverend Pat know if you're interested. And Pat, would you like to say something more about
Let me
that?
just get a show of hands of anybody who's coming Wednesday for the lunch at FeedNC. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's great. I'll plan on about 12. Go over there too.
Okay. The UU Justice North Carolina community meets each Friday morning at 11 via the Zoom link in each newsletter for an action hour. And Pat, would you like to say something about that?
Thank you, Ray. We did have action hour on Friday, and I didn't do my normal head count, but I think there were at least 4 or 5 of us there. We lobbied Governor Stein to veto the new crime bill, and he instead signed it. So we're a little bit mad at him right now. The bill calls for shortening the amount of time to appeal a death sentence to 2 years. We have 122 people on death row in North Carolina. We haven't had an execution in 20 years, and we continue to urge the government not to kill any prisoners. But the bill also calls for firing squads to be a choice for executions in North Carolina, and also hanging was included in that bill too. Okay, so bring back hanging. Anyway, we did not accomplish what we set out to do Friday. The other side won, and I think in the governor's defense, it was a very emotionally charged bill because of the murder in Charlotte. It was touted as a response to the fact that the young woman was killed on the train. Is that right?
Yeah.
Shot on the train from a knife. And so this new bill was written to make murder a more serious crime. That's it.
Our closing song.
I got an announcement.
Oh, okay. Other announcements.
You can probably guess I'm here to push you towards the website calendar again. I have filled it for October, and you will find that any event I know details about, you will find the details. For instance, this coming Saturday's build, the address is in there, a picture of Oakley, the movie, the time of the movie, the name of the movie. So anytime I can put details in about the service, of whether there's going to be a spiritual education, as soon as I know about it, I'll be putting it on there. So please visit the calendar. There's lots of information. And you will notice that unlike some religions, which give rest days of Sundays or Saturdays, Pat would never say that his religion gives him a rest day on Sunday, I know. You will see that we give a rest day on Wednesdays. Almost empty, although this week, there's something going on every day this week, including that lunch at FeedNC. Go to that.
It's been a little over a year since a hurricane tore through our mountains. And last year we participated at the Hope House in Boone, which reaches out to 7 counties. And we took everything, sleeping bags. We took for kids for Christmas. We had gobs of gifts for kids for Christmases and so forth, and gas cards. It's in your website. We're asking for donations again. What they're looking for right now are heaters, electric heaters. Okay. They're looking for pillows. They're looking for sleeping bags and looking for gas cards again. And we can get the gas cards in Lenore as we go through because it's speed something. Yeah, and they want $10 there. But that's what we're going for the next couple of weeks. Keep that in your mind. Yes.
Used pillows, okay, or do they have
No, the new. Yeah. So, and towels. Yeah, they want towels too. So look out, reach out, and we're going to start our fall trips to the mountains again and hopefully help a few people out. Bring here. Yes.
Like on Sunday?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll take them up.
So we have 2 Sundays left in October. Is that right? Maybe 3. Next Sunday is the 12th. We will do Share the Plate next Sunday for Hospitality House in Boone. And that would be a good day to also bring any Native American items that you have, any artwork, pottery, because we're going to be talking about Indigenous Peoples Day next Sunday. Bring that kind of stuff and bring sleeping bags and pillows and towels and gas cards and money for Hospitality House. We did a great job last year. Let's not let up.
Okay, any other announcements? Just to be sure. Our closing song is number 168 in your hymnal, One More Step. Please stand as you're willing and able.
Since Ray brought it up, I will share the quote from Thomas Jefferson. There is not a young man in America today. There's not a young man alive in America today who will not die a Unitarian.
We close our services by extinguishing the light in the chalice and saying together the words in your order of service. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. Ah, worked.
He was on roll,